This is the Euro Aussie 5 range, and this is a trend continuation using the higher time frame analysis, but then using the 5 range as the entry. The entry is an aggressive entry using a back pattern. Here you can see the back pattern. So we hit a 50% for the B point. We came up to the 886. That 88.6 fib level is just 3 pips below the psychological number 16,000. And if we just zoom out here, my stop has gone between the 113 and 127, putting me roughly a full ATR above the outside return. So just here, if I just remove these orders for a moment, and so you can see what price is doing. Here on the 5 range, you can clearly see that we've been new structure low outside return, new structure low outside return, we've been in trend, new structure low outside return, new structure low outside return. So anywhere within this zone I can look for shorting opportunities, and this back pattern presented itself. We have just had a lower low, lower close candle now. However, I did say this was trend continuation, so let me take you out to the daily time frame and do the higher time frame analysis, and we'll be able to get an idea of why I've entered in on this trade. So we haven't got the daily confirmation, and the reason for that is if I put a structure level in here, you can see that today we are trying to break through this zone but haven't. So on the dailies we have not had a break below, close below. One thing to take note of is that we are not oversold on the RSI. If we were oversold, there would be a higher probability for me that we'd see a retracement and potentially hold that structure level. If we go down the time frames though and we look at the 240, just remove the VS1 levels, and I put a structure level back on the most recent low, you can see now that in actual fact we have had a break below, close below, indicating now price could come lower. Also, what I like to do is if we highlight the wicks, we can sometimes determine that price comes back into the wicks before continuing to the downside. We have also just closed below the 16,000 level, so we've passed that level. We've also passed structure. The RSI is only at 22, so we could see the RSI go a lot more oversold, still indicating that we may not get a reversal. And the whole point of trading, guys, is just to simply build a case. Are we more probable that we're going to go lower than see a reversal and go higher? Excuse me. And right now that is certainly the case, what I'm looking at anyway. Here on the 60-minute time frame, we've also had a break below, close below, but look what price did. It came down, and then it's been slowly making its way lower. Let's go to the 15-minute time frame. Okay, and here we can pretty much see what we saw on the 5 range. You can see we've been making our way down, and we've got a new structure low, outside return, new structure low. Now this for me is not a double bottom, so I can play this a trend continuation up into the tops here, playing for a retest of the lows and then playing for an extension lower. So where does that extension lower come to? Well, if we just go back out to the 240, we know that we're going to first of all play for a retest of the lows here. And where could price then come to? Well, I'm looking at this zone here. Pretty much anywhere in this zone, although we do have this internal level of structure here that we can also look at. Do we have any fibs down there? You can see that we have a 618 coming into that zone. Let's leave that on. Obviously we want to build a case for where targets could potentially go to. We have anything here? Well, in between a 382 and a 618. We can try inverting this leg here, and we actually have a 127 coming down at that 618. And what else do we have here? We can take an extension from here. We have a 1618 a little lower down as well. And lastly, we can try inverting this main leg here, but that's only going to give us a 1618 there, so not really applicable, that one. So you can see now we have a zone here. Sorry guys, just let me get rid of that 886 so it doesn't confuse people. There we go. So you can see here 127, a 1618 and a 618 fib all coming in within our bigger area, which is here. So quite a nice area here to look for targets. So if I just bring back on my orders, you can actually see here that my secondary target is above that 127, above that 618, above that 1618, and it's actually 2 pips above the psychological number 15900 flat. So very safe place to take targets, and when it does come to target taking, I really like to take them at the safest place possible, because typically you don't always get the full follow through. So for me, very safe place there to take them. And let's just go ahead here and draw back out our pattern. So it looks like this. And if I bring back on the orders, it means that I am risking 16 pips here. Target ones is 41. Target 2s is 94. I'm going to set an alert there for if we get down to that level, so that I can move to break even and of course resume this recording. And we're back for a little update on this trade. And just a few seconds ago we were 27 pips up here, still on the 5 range here. So as you can see, we've now had quite a nice move to the downside. If you were playing for fib targets here on this trade, you would have hit targets 1 and 2. However, I'm still holding here for my targets down at 5955. So we'll come back again and see if there's any more movement to the downside. And we're back for an update on this trade, and as you can see now, we've actually gone, or we did go 41 pips into profit, but we did not spike past my buy order for target ones. So what I've managed to do now is move a couple of pips past break even here. So no matter what happens here, this is a risk-free trade. And if I just zoom out and look at the bigger picture here, it's a nice trading opportunity. Can't see too much there actually, but nevertheless, here we go. Risk-free trade now. We'll come back to this trade when it's hit. And we're back for an update on this trade. Time is 20 past 6 in the morning. Let me just remove these figures here, and you can actually see that we never came back down again. So this actually hit dead on my line, 41 pips, my take profit line. Never took. Then reversed, stopped me out for break even. What an absolute shame. I absolutely hate it when this happens. So that was a break even trade. If we have a look what the market is doing now, it is indicating that we can come lower. So if I put a structure level on here, you can now see on the dailies we've broken below it. And that means again that we can come potentially down to this level, go to the 240. What's happened here is we've come into these wicks, and so as you can see now, it's looking like we are going to put in a nice 3-bar reversal here and be able to play for that trend continuation trade. Let's go and drop down to the 60-minute time frame. This is how the 60 looks. We have already had the lower low, lower close here. And there we go. Break even trade.